Hey y'all, it is me, Stop, Drop, and Roll On, and I'm checking in to just to kind of let y'all know that I got my workout in. I got, you know, got all in from work and stopped and everything like that, and came in here and tied the brown cotton ball up and went there and got on a treadmill. And I was looking at this movie, and for some reason I thought that the movie was about one thing, but it ended up being about something else, which triggered a lot, which I really wasn't expecting. But first of all, I had the trigger for the movie was something that happened about a week and a half ago, and then today the trigger. I've had two emotional triggers that under normal circumstances would have probably made me want to like stuff my feelings, like eat or just kind of. Well, I said it, stuff your feelings, eat, when there's nothing else to say. So, anyway, I don't know what I thought this movie was. Usually, when I was in there walking, I usually lean toward BBC type movies. I like British movies. I really like British dramas and stuff like that, series and stuff like that. I got that from my mom, and I don't know what that's about, but it's a weird situation. And Pierre just kind of goes like this, but I got him too, because Pierre got well, he's through with it now, but he found the show and he's just like he's worn it out. I don't even want to talk about that, but anyway, that's not what this is about. But I was looking at this, I couldn't find a new BBC thing to look at, and I did not have time to scroll. I was trying to get my workout in, and I got to thinking. I mean, looking at this video, and I'm just like, this isn't a this is a African based movie, and I don't know what I thought it was about, something else, but it ended up being about domestic violence and all the and I didn't finish the movie, so I can't even tell you how it ended. I walked on the treadmill for 50 minutes, looking at 50 minutes, looking at this movie, and I still think it's probably maybe about 30 or 40 minutes left on the movie. So I'm sure I'll, finish it off. But I was just looking at it and kind of intrigued by it because it's something that is always on my mind. Not always, meaning perpetually, but I still yet try to understand the emotional component of domestic violence. I know what the basic stuff that everybody else knows, but it's real different when it's something that hits close to home. That was trigger number one from an incident that happened a week and a half ago, which happened several years ago. Then the other trigger today was tomorrow is Nanny's birthday. And this is our first time in 80, almost 90 years that we will not be celebrating a birthday with her actively on the planet. And, I was talking to my mom about it. She had called during my lunch break, and I was just thinking about it, and she just happened to call. And usually when that occurs, and not, I'm not emoting, but today it was just, if I feel like this, how is my mother feeling? Because this is her mom. And so I was kind of like, do I mention how I'm feeling? Do I just push this down? I mean, what do I do? And at some point, I just started talking about it. And I said, Mom, this is just really, really strange to feel like this and not be able to do anything about it. I said, it's nothing that I can't fix it. You can't fix it. I mean, we cannot fix this. And even if we could, considering, the struggle and the length of her struggle, would we do that, And so it was just, talking and stuff. And my mom said some things too, which were valid. She made this comment. She said, well, the reason why you having the issues is because whenever I'm surrounded by people that DNA, all of this stuff. And then you, on the other hand, are not. And so it is kind of like catch as catch can. And usually it's not a catch. So I just, feel it and then I just push it down. Feel it and push it down. But today it just didn't get pushed all the way down before, I ended up on the phone. So I had that emotion, but I did not fix my emotions with food today. I did not do that. And I'm very happy about that because that is not the way you deal with stuff. You deal with it by talking about it like we did today. Get it out. Don't be pushing stuff down. Not trying to cover it up with something else because the issue is still there, whether it's fixable or not. Talk about it, get that off of you, and keep it moving. And I am applying that to so many areas of my life, y'all. I cannot begin to tell you and how big a difference it has made. Has been, I just can't explain it. And maybe one day I'll get the words for it. And maybe one day I won't. I don't know. But the other thing was back to this movie that I was looking at. It's called Knocking on Heaven's Door. But this is an African-based movie. And it kind of like triggered some thoughts that I had about a week and a half ago. Because, again, my mom had called. It was in the evening. And we hadn't spoken that day. And, she was like, just the craziest thing happened today. And I was like, when Mama said something like that, I know something went down because it's not a lot of stuff that, like, actively shakes her. And so she made this comment, and I've said it before, maybe on this channel, but I know on my old channel, about, I had a niece that was murdered. And the strange part about it is that was like I said before, this is my brother's child. So if he was on my channel, because this is not something that I intend on sharing with him, and he probably isn't going to ever get on this channel, and if I feel the need to, I will even delete the video, but I'm going to bring this up today, because I'm just going to explain it. So when we start talking about, things like domestic violence and then even violence, like when people are dating, because this child was 19 years old. And again, going back to this thing, if I'm feeling like this, I cannot imagine what my brother is feeling like, because this was his oldest child. And at this point, I'm sure she would be married. I'm sure she would have children and all this other stuff. But my mom was out, and just a small amount of information. I'm not going to go into no detail because this isn't something that's going to ever go out of my brain. I'm not going to ever forget it, but I don't want to go deep into it. And anyway, what ended up happening is the guy that she was dating shot her in the head, left her in her apartment, left her there to die, and he left. And about 3 days later, him and some relatives, one of which happened to be the person that bore him, follow me, went back with him to get her and dispose of her, but they couldn't do it. They couldn't actively figure out how to get into her place and get her out of there without it being an issue. So, hence, this is what I'm talking about with this domestic thing. The thing that happened is she ran it. One of the people that was assisting him, he is now, of course, justice was served, almost got off. The person that was helping him, the one that bore him, ran into my mom, and it was just like, I just ran into a classmate or something. They weren't classmates. I'm just saying this is how it's, oh, girl, how you doing? And my mother's like, I could just see the look on her face. And the person goes into this big diatribe about how she has written a book. And she wants my mom, telling her about the name of the book and all this stuff, and acting like you didn't do what you did. And I asked my mother after we were talking about it, I said, I just sometimes wonder what people think about us, because I think that we have a hospitable gene that is a little bit defective, because I know that some normal people would have swung out on that situation, meaning really just swung out. Just the sight of that person walking the street would have been enough to make them go off, considering that this is a well-known fact that you were there to assist, and by some fluke you did not end up incarcerated as well. And this is the second occurrence of this in my life, because the same thing happened with my biological father, killed because of someone that was still allowed and still does at this time walk the streets. And I just thought about that, and all this stuff started flooding back in, when my mother was telling me about that. And then when I looked at this movie, I was just kind of like, glued in on it, and just feeling all of this feeling all over again. So like I said, I had two big things today that just kind of got some stuff churning. So after I got through, so I've held out the other thing since, lunchtime. And then the movie I chose on accident ends up with the other thing. And remarkably, y'all, I'm talking to y'all about it, and I came to grips with the other thing, back regarding my grandmother. And I'm cool. I mean, I just think for real, pure talking is underrated. I'm not talking about, I'm talking to you and you trying to figure out, who I am or what angle to take on how to control or handle me, because, it's a lot of different ways that people communicate, but it's not always effective, and it's not always, well, I'll just leave it at effective. Okay. But I think today, with me talking to my mom about the situation with my grandmother, and then just sitting here telling y'all this other thing, made a difference, because when she first told me about the thing about this woman with this having written this book, and like we supposed to go out and purchase the book to read about how somebody you bore did something and you did too, and who does that, But it takes all type of situations, all type of things happen out in the world, and me and mine are not exempt. I have no expectation. I mean, the word says that it rains on the just and the unjust. And so I'm going to have these days. I mean, but I know that as far as I'm concerned, the overcomer, his spirit lives within me. And so I don't have to be ruled by that. Doesn't say I'm not going to have any feelings. But then even along with that, the word says that we're supposed to cast our cares upon him, God, Christ, who cares for us. He gave himself for us. Christ did, And so that's just a burden and an emotion that I don't need to carry. If my mom never called it the next time, I have just made up in my mind that I'm just going to take all of this stuff where it needs to be at, which is at the feet of Christ, and just try my level best. I will succeed sometimes, other times I will not, and leave it there. And I just wanted to, just get on here and just talk to if anybody's having an emotional time, or a situation or something like that. It just, like I said, effective communication and definitely talking to God about the situation is underrated. And, I'm like, I want to come into the light on every aspect, and this is one of those aspects. Y'all, I got my workout in, 50 minutes on the treadmill. I'm getting ready. Y'all see the sun going down. I'm in a different spot today. Well, in a different spot in the broom. And I'm going to go on here and get myself desalted and everything such as that. And I will talk to y'all the next time. Have a good day. Toodles.